Gianna Toboni examines the ongoing battle for LGBT rights in America. This is her debrief.
While in the past, we heard a lot about hate crimes against the LGBT community, it seems like in the last year, in the last 2 years, we've been hearing much more about legal discrimination in employment, housing, healthcare, all these different areas. And that's really where they feel like their voices need to be heard. And then on the other side of things, when you talk to people who say that they have the religious right to refuse to serve same-sex couples, they say that the Constitution says that we have religious freedom, so we can decide whether or not to serve these couples. It seems like a legal tug of war more than anything else in this issue right now. When I sat down with Senator Booker, I asked him, is this discrimination really happening as much as people say it is? And his response was, to think that this discrimination is not happening as much as people say it is to have privilege. Just because you're not discriminated against doesn't mean that it's not happening. And in states where there are anti-discrimination laws, someone gets fired and they think it's because they're gay. If the employer doesn't say, I'm firing you because you're gay, that person still doesn't have legal recourse. And then in more than half the country where there aren't anti-discrimination laws, if you're fired for being gay and the employer says, I'm firing you because you are gay, you can't do anything about it. You have no legal recourse at all. And a lot of times people are smart enough to not say that that's the reason. I think just as the lawyer we interviewed in the piece, Dana Nessel, said, this situation is going to get worse before it gets better. When you look at politics today, we've never been more partisan. But I do think Senator Booker's legislation, although I don't think it'll get passed in the next 6 months, 10 months, I do think that legislation or similar legislation to it will be passed eventually. We spent a good amount of time with the religious right community, and sometimes they're portrayed as sort of cartoonishly angry and mean and always wanting to verbally attack the other side. And the truth is that the people that we met, they were very kind, very hospitable. They wanted to befriend everybody in the room. And also, there was one religious leader that we talked to who lives in Washington, D.C. and has a pretty substantial backing at his church. And he said he never has a problem sitting down with Congress people, as he said, getting a seat at the Washington table. So they have political influence. When you have tens of thousands of congregants at your church, you're going to be able to meet with Congress people and you're going to be able to influence legislation.